So here we discuss the string and the selections. So any questions before going to the next part you have? So here we discuss the next lesson, which is very important, string and the selection. Those two are very important to complete the programs. So then we just start this lesson. Now, before going to the string directly, we need to have some idea about some of the mainly used functions. So here we discuss mainly two functions. That is basically this print is a function. So that will be used most of the time. Now remember, if it is a function, always you can identify the function. Function must have the starting parentheses and the ending parentheses are needed. So from that, you can identify the function. So this is a function name, and here we can pass some value inside. So this print is the main function which will be used to display the values on the computer monitor. So print, and whatever the things you write inside this bracket, whatever you write within this inside this bracket with the single or double quotation will be displayed as it is. That will be displayed as it is in the computer monitor. Therefore, this is one of the very useful functions you need to use. This is most of the time when you're writing the program to display the values on the computer monitor. Now, as an example given here, uh, when you have values like this, that is we have the values are equal to w is equal to 10, x is equal to 15, y is equal to 20, and z is equal to 25. Like we have assigned the values, four values to the four variables same time. Then if you just say print w comma x comma y comma z, these values will be printed on the monitor like this. And remember, it automatically keeps the spacing between the two values. So therefore 10, 15, 25 will be printed as it is like this. And again, if you want to have a separator, now here there is no any separator in between the outputs, and these values are just outputs here. So if you want to separate by comma, you can use this special attribute here, SCP, separate, and use the comma. In that case, output will be separated by comma. And if you keep the blank here, then you can see it is separated with nothing, all comes together. If you use a colon, the output will be separated by colon. And if you use the dash line like this, output will be separated by dash line. So that is the meaning of SAP, to separate the values. When you are going to display the multiple values, you can use a SAP operator. Is that clear in print function? And the other one we need to use most of the time. So yes, that is second part. Now here, this is the another important one is end. End. When you have the end equals nothing, what happens, these outputs will not go to the new lines. Here you can see when you write print x, it goes to one line. Print y, it goes to another line. Print z, it goes to new line. But here, when you say print a, it will be printed. When you say end equals nothing, the second value display the same line. And here when you say end equals nothing, the outputs will display the same line. Therefore, some instance, you want to display the output horizontally. In that case, end equals empty should be used. But if you want to display the outputs vertically like this, you can just write the print without using the end. So that is the difference between those two lines. Yeah, the basically when you have when you just forget about this one. Now if you write print x, x will be printed in one line. When you say print y, it will be printed in another line. When you say print set, it will be displaying another line. So the outputs are displayed vertically like this. But if you want to display the outputs horizontally, then you can use a print, but you can say nd equals nothing. Therefore, first will be printed and the second one will be printed the same line. Third will be printed in the same line. They are not going to the new lines. Here the outputs are displayed in horizontally, this direction. Here the output display in the vertically. Is that clear? Because this is the one of the very useful function we are using most of the time. You will get more familiar with this one once you are writing the program, because this is used most of the places. Then some instance you want to get the output horizontally, some instance you want to get the output vertically. This is another very important function. Most of the time in your writing, when you're writing the program, this is used. That is input function. Input function. Remember, the input function is used to get some input from the computer keyboard. So whatever the input devices, you can get the inputs. So in that case, when you are writing this command function, you write the function name input. Within bracket, you can display the message you want to represent. Now here input quotation marks, and you can include whatever the text you want to display with the function. So in that case, it display this, and when the user enters some value, that value will be saved in the variable here. So as an example, we can write, let's say you want to write a program to get some input. So in here, now in here, we want to write, let's say n is equal to, I can write input. I can say enter value for n. Quotation mark should be closed. Then you can see when you run this, it waits for value to be entered. Now you can enter the value. Let's say I enter 75, 78. Then you can see that value will be saved in the n. So then the n will be equal to how much? 78. If you look at the n, you can see n gets the value 78. Like you can assign the values to this variable given, because this is used most of the time when you're writing the programs, you need to get some input from the keyboard. So the input is the main method we can use to get the inputs for your program. Yeah. So then you can get the inputs by using this function, input function. Now remember, one thing you should notice, this input function, whenever you give the value, now here I have entered 78. I have entered 78, but remember this value is taken as a string. This value is taken as a string. Therefore, most of the time when you're using this function, we need to convert this into integer or float. In that case, most of the time we need to use the corresponding function. So for that one, we have different functions. I just explained few of them. Here there are some conversion functions. That is, one is int, integer. So this function will convert the input into the integer value. Float to convert the inputs into the floating point value. str to convert the numerical values into the strings. The boolean to get the boolean value. So chr function is used to get the ASCII value. So ord function is used to get the chr function is used to get the character for the given ASCII value. ORD function is used to get the ASCII value for the given character. So like, as given this example, if you have a integer, now this one is a string, 20 is a string here because quotation marks. The strings can be converted into integer by using the int function. If you have a number with the fraction, that is also converted into integer only. For the true, integer value is 1, false, integer value is 0. The plot is to convert the number into floating point. Now this is string, that is converted floating point. Now this is a reverse process, that is 20 is integer, you want to convert it strings, then you can use a str function. And Boolean function is to get the Boolean variable value true or false. Remember, for the positive and negative numbers, it will be true. 0, 4, it will be false. Like, and the CHR function, once you give the number, you can get the ASCII character. And ORD function, once the character is given, you can get the ASCII value. Like, we have some of the functions. Most of the time, for your exam paper question, we may need to use these two actually, because most of the time the input should be converted into integer or float. So then, based on the question requirement, you need to decide what functions are going to be used. So in general, we are using the int function or what we call float function. Now, as an example, let's say we are entering the marks. So we want to convert the marks into integer. Then you can use a function in int, and then you can input the value. You can say enter the mark. You can say enter the mark like this. Now in this case, you can enter the marks. Let's say you enter the marks 76. Then that marks you entered will be saved in the variable m. Then if you check the m, now you can see m is 76. No issue. M is 76. But earlier you can see the entered value was string. But now it has taken into integer because you have converted into integer. Similarly, you can convert this into the float if you want. So in the float conversion, you can take this one and you can change the function. Instead of the int, here you can use the function what we call the float. We can use the function float. So in that case, so in this case, the value will be converted into float. Now, if you enter the value 76, now you can see the value is 76.0. So that's the difference between the integer and the float. Yes, maybe because new versions, maybe they have changed. Yeah, that's correct. New version because there are differences. Yes, that is correct. But in the previous version, actually, it is taken as not as integer. So at the time of this syllabus is created, actually they are using this word or these different versions. There can be differences, but current previous versions actually takes all the inputs as a string. Therefore, we need to use the corresponding converters. So then just remember that function input function is a very useful function. In a lot of places you have to use it. Okay, now we just count the strings. Now in the strings, remember, always it is enclosed by quotes, single quotation or double quotation should be used. So in that case, if it is a string, you can define it the single quotation like this or double quotation like this. You can have 3 double quotation if the string is moving on several lines, more than one line. The string is more than one line, you can start by triple quotations like this. They can move with the different lines. So if you are going to include the quotation marks, remember single quotation, both end you need to have the double quotation. And again, one side is double quotation, other side is single quotation is not working, it gives the errors. It gives the errors. Those are the very simple points that you should know, but in the exams they may check those knowledge. In the strings, yeah, three quotation output is this one. Here you can see. This is the one I have defined as a C. The output is this, which is having the multiple lines. The multiple lines, remember this new line character will be added. This new line character will be added. First you can listen carefully, then I will send the CTUs. Now, like this, then the output will be like this. Why is that this? Why do you get this this backslash n? Now in this backslash n is a new line character, because that says this is a first line, and this is a first line, and this second line, and then after that this one is a third line, and after that this one is a next line. So this backslash n is used to identify the new line character that indicates which has 3 lines. Sorry, it has 4 lines. So this is the first line, this is second line, this is third line, and this is fourth line. Like to separate the lines, that new line character will be added. Now this will be, we learned this one, we discussed this one in detail when we're going to discuss about the file operations, file IO operations with Python. That is very useful when I go to write the outputs, the new lines. So that is how you can have the multiple lines for string. Now remember here we have a very useful function len. Len is used to find the length of the strings. Not only strings, actually we can find the length of the other variables also. We'll discuss later data types like what we call the list, tuples, directory, sorry, dictionary. We can find out the length by using the len function. Now here, this will count how many characters are there. So here this will find the characters here. Now here 1, 2, 3. Spacing also will be considered. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you get the 11 characters. Yes, maybe that's correct. New versions, maybe that's correct. But normally this new line character is there, even it is not shown, new line character is there actually. That is to indicate it's a new line. So then this is the method which is used to find the length. Okay, then we'll come to another very important point in the strings in the Python. Remember, strings in Python can be added together, and one string can be added to another string. So what you can do is you can just do the addition. So this is one string, this is another string. You can add them together, which is equal as string concatenation. You get the output like this. So multiple strings. Now here all these are strings actually. We are adding them together. Once you add it, you get the answer like this. And this one is, remember, one the important is a multiplication. Multiplication will repeat this string. Now here I have a string which is multiplied by 4. Then what happens? This will be repeated 4 times like this. Just remember, 2 or more strings can be added together and create one single string. And the strings can be multiplied by number. Then it will be repeated. But remember, string can be multiplied. Only thing is number and the string can be multiplied together. Then the string will be repeated some number of times. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now this is another important thing in this string. Now remember this string, you can access to the each character one by one by using the index number. Now whenever you create a string, remember you can access to the each value using the index number. Normally this index number 0 means starting one. Starting character is start by index 0 and next one is index 1. Like you can access to the each character one by one by using the index number. At the same time, you should know in here the index number will be started by from the now as given here. I'm not sure whether you can see this. I just take this one up. So here you can see what happened is starting index. Now when you create a string like this, if you save this string, what happened? First character you can access by index number 0. Next one is index number 1. Next one is index number 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Like using the index number, you can access it. At the same time, you can come from the last one. Then the last one is start by -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Like you can come from back side to the other side, to the beginning. So in that case, remember, last index number will be start by -1. Here it is start by 0 and go with incrementation. And then here the last one is start by -1 and then come to the other directions. So then both index number can be used. Now as an example, so if you take this example here, this Python, this is string. In this one is index number 0 is capital P. Index number 1 is Y. -1 means last one. -2 means one before the last O, like that. You can access to the each character one by using the index number. So when you are using this string, remember you can access to the values by using the index number. As an example, if I create a strings equal like this, now I have a string like this. So in this case, I can access the index number 0. That is the first one. That is I. Then you can go to the next index number. That is equal to C. Then you can go to the next index number. That is equal to T. Then you can go to the next index number. That is equal to space, like that. So then remember, in this string, each character can be accessed by using the index number. Like a 0 means the first one. S1 means the second one. S2 means the next one. Like that, you can access to each character one by using the index number. Similarly, when you use the -1, remember -1 means last one. Here last one is which one? 1. So if you go to the one before the last, then you get the -2. That will be equal to 2, like that. So then remember, in the strings, you can go to the last character by using the -1. -2 means one before the last character. So that is a one thing you should know in the index. You can use the index number to access to each character one by one. And most importantly, remember the strings, the content can be modified. Content can be modified. So that is, now when you are creating a string, now let's say you have created this string, something like this. Now, let's say you have the I, C, T. Let's say I wrote like this. Now here S is equal to this one. Now you can see in here S, in this S string. Now first character I incorrectly wrote with a simple letter, simple I. Simple I. Because if you look at the first one, 0th one, then you can see which is equal to simple I. Simple I. Now assume I want to change this to the capital I. I want to change this capital I. So what I can do is I can write S0. Now we know S0, now it is simple I. So what I want to do is I want to change this to the capital I like this. Because I incorrectly wrote that string first character as simple. But I want to change it. Remember, in a string, you can't do that. You can't change it. So that is the one property you should remember, the strings. A string is a kind of data types where the content cannot be changed. Content cannot be changed. Therefore, we call them as immutable data types. Immutable data types. So just remember, the content of this string cannot be changed. That is one of the very important thing you should know. So again, from the strings, remember, you can take the substring or part of the string you can take. Now, as given this example, here I have a string which has the characters A, B, C, D up to J. Then you can see the index numbers. These are the index numbers for each character, 0 to 9. These are the index number you get. So in this case, if you write string is S, if you write S25, S25, S2 colon 5, then 2 colon 5 means starting character is 2. Starting character is 2. So when you write like this, starting character should be 2. That means this one. Starting character should be 2. And 5 means last one is not 5, last one is fourth one. Remember, 5 means the last one is fourth one, not the fifth one. That means C to D, C to E, this one. That is how you get this output. Remember, when you write like this, 5 means 5 is not the last one is fourth one. Just remember that. Last one is fourth one. Therefore, the answer is C, D, and E. Now, here, what is the meaning? Here, starting from the beginning, last one is the fourth one. That is, you have to start from the beginning. Last one is a fourth one. That means up to E. So you get up to E. What is the meaning of this one? Start from the fifth one, go up to the last one. So start from the fifth one. So what is fifth one? Fifth one is this one. And go up to the last one. That is F, G, H, I, J. This one. This one. Then the next one, what is the meaning? Next one is start from the -2, go onwards. That is, this is the -1, this is the -2. -2 means this one. So this one onwards, that means this one onward, this direction. So that means I and J. So this one is entire string. So like remember, we can use the slicing. That means you can take a substring. And most importantly, if you have the three values, yeah, the slicing idea is that now when you I have in a string like this is string you have, and these are the the indices you get for each character 0 to 9. When we can number them, then you get 0 to 9 like this. So then when you write S2 colon 5, 2 means starting character. What is starting character? Second one. 5, remember 5 means 5 is not the last one. If they have given 5, the last one is fourth one. That means 2 to 4. 2 to 4. 2 to 4 means C, D, and E. So the output you get as C, D, and E. Starting from 2 up to fourth one, not including fifth one. Just remember that. That's the first one. The second one, we can start from the beginning, but go up to the fourth one, not the fifth one. Start from the beginning, go up to the fourth one, not the fifth one. That means A, B, C, D, and E. Yeah, index number is used as it is. Then the next one, start from the fifth one. Start from the fifth one, go up to the end. This is the fifth one, go up to the end. That means F, G, H, I, J. No, star is not used. Where is star? Then is that clear? Any doubts you have? Now this one is -2 onwards. Yeah, this one is -2 onwards. -2 onward mean this is -1, this is -2. Then the -2 onward, that means this one onwards. That is I and J. This is the entire string. Now remember, when you have the three values, here, what is the meaning of the three values? First one is starting index. Starting index is 1. Second one is not the last index, but one before the last. Here the second index is 7. 7 means last index is 6. Keep in mind, 7 means not the last index is 7, last index is 6. And then what is this one? This will tell you whether it is incrementation or decrementation. That means here 2 means for the starting value 2 should be added. That means starting is 1. Next one is 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2, 5. Like that. Therefore, the output is B, D, and F. That's how you get it. B, D, and F. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's the slicing. You should know that. So that's example. This one tells you at from 0 to 12th one. And this is another string. This still tells you 12th one to last one. You can add. Then you get this word. So how do you read that one? This one is starting from beginning to the 12th character. Sorry, not 12, 11th character. And this is another string. This one is 12 onwards up to the last one. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have this str method. Str method is to convert into string. Now, if I have integer value, some string you have to convert into the string. Here, this is 100. If I want to convert it to string, you can use a method str, which will convert it to string. Now, here I have the Boolean value. The Boolean can be converted to strings like this. For that, you can use a function str. That function should be used. That function will convert whatever the inputs you have given will be converted into a string. That's the meaning of the function str, to convert into string. Is that clear, the function?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is another important function which we need to use when you're writing this program with the file operations. Later we'll be use this one, but here we just learn what is this function. This function we call as a strip function. That is to convert it to string actually. When the numbers are given, it is converted to string. That is when the integer values or Boolean values are given, this integer that will be converted into integer, sorry, string. Now this is string. And here the true is a variable Boolean type. It is converted into string. So therefore, if you want to convert variables into string, use the function str, string function. Then we have another method called as strip method. Now, strip method is used to delete some specific characters from the beginning and the end of the string. Remember, if the string has some specific characters you want to remove from the beginning and end, we can use the strip method. As an example here, I have a string like this. But in these strings, at the beginning, I have dots. And the end, we have the dots. Let's say I want to delete them. So then we can call this method s.strip and then indicate dots here. Then what happen? From the beginning and the end, dot will be deleted. That's then you get this output. Then you get this output. So it will delete the strings. At the same time, remember, if I have a string, now here there are dots at the beginning and there are dots in the middle also. And here also have the dots. But remember, when you call this strip method, that will strip or remove only the dots from the beginning and the end. So you get the output like this. The dots in the middle will not be removed. Therefore, this strip method is used to remove the whatever this given characters from the beginning and the end. Now in this case, I am saying, okay, delete all the stars and the dots from the beginning and the end. So then these dots and the star from the beginning and the end will be deleted. Then you get the output like this. Therefore, the purpose of the strip method is to remove the given characters from the beginning and the end of the given string. That's the strip method. Is that clear? Then we have another method to the string called as a split method. Split method. Now the split method is used to split the given string into a list, which will separate into a list. Like now, as given this example, if you want to separate, now we have a string. This is the string you have. And this is string, I want to separate word by word. I want to split this into word by words based on the spacing. So based on the spacing, I want to divide this into 3 words. That can be done by the split method. So then you can see it is separated into the 3 words. ICT is a one component, ALL is another component, 2020 is another component. Here I am having just nothing, so it's separated by spacing. But if I have a comma like
Sir,
this, comma like this, then you can say separate by comma. Then it is separate by comma like this. So,
so it's
and
but
again,
first one is
you can
comma.
determine or you can set how many separations you want, splitting you want. Now, in this case, this is divided into 3 words like this. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. But if you want to separate this only only at one first place, in that case, you can say, okay, separate this based on the spacing on the first place. In this place, it is separated. This is one and this is another one. So then basically, most time in the exams, we are using this one actually to separate. When you have the string, if you want to separate this into different components, in that case, this split method is used. You can see most of the past paper questions, this was there, especially MCQ. Then you need to understand what is the purpose of the split method. The split method is to divide or split the string into separate component. So that can be done using the split method. Here you can see it is a single string, but now it is separated into 3 components. This one, this second one, this third one. Like splitting the strings can be done using the split method. No, comma, if you have the comma, you have to say separate by comma. Now, in this case, we are saying, okay, separate by comma. So, in that case, it is separated by comma. But here, we are not having anything. We are not empty here. Then it is separated by the spacing. Is that clear? So these are the main components actually you should know in these strings. Okay, then okay, last one actually, yeah, this one. So here you can use the separator. In this case, you are saying the separator is empty, but here the separator is the this comma. And here we are separated by spacing, and this will tell you maximum split. How many splits you want. So then you get here one means you get one component here, others will go to the other side. Like you can decide how many split ins maximum you want. Yeah, you can separate by colons if they have the colons. But in that case, string must have a colon. Now, let's say, as an example, let's say we have something like this. S is equal to, you get something like this. Let's say 25 colon 4 colon 66. Sorry. 44, like let's say we have some values separated by colon like this. Now if you have colon, like if you have the number like this, now this is a string. So if you want to separate this one, if you want to separate by colon, you can write s dot you can call this split method. So then you have to separate by which one, comma, sorry, colon. You have to indicate which one is should be used to separate. Now you can see it is separated by colon. So then the colon must be there in the expression or the statement. Then you can separate by the colon. So here each component is separated by colon. Then you can get each one separately.